The movie begins by flashing back to an important day, a special evening at Leonardo's house. He had organized a small, intimate party to celebrate his wedding anniversary with his wife, Professor Alma. They had invited close friends like Brenda, Esteban, and several others to join them for the occasion. As the evening progresses, Leonardo, full of affection, presents Alma with a heartfelt gift, 2 beautiful swans. He explains to her, in front of their guests, that swans symbolize lovers who remain together for a lifetime, sometimes even up to 100 years, devoted and inseparable. His words are meant to deepen their bond, but not everyone shares in the joy. As Leonardo speaks, Brenda is visibly envious. Her eyes betray a silent jealousy that she tries to conceal. In an awkward moment, Esteban chimes in, commenting cynically that recent studies suggest female swans are not as loyal as their male counterparts. His remark dampens the atmosphere. Brenda sharply interrupts him, calling the comment inappropriate and disrespectful. Despite the slight tension, the party goes on. Eventually, Leonardo and Alma step away, leaving Brenda, Esteban, and the others in the living room. The scene shifts dramatically. We find ourselves later, witnessing a heated and intense argument between Professor Alma and Esteban. Esteban is desperate for the truth. He pressures Alma to reveal the identity of the man she slept with on the tragic day that Brenda died. Alma is resistant, unwilling to open old wounds. Esteban insists, pleading that it's not just about personal feelings, but about protecting their family from further pain. Finally, under mounting pressure, Alma confesses. The man was Dario, a young lawyer. Their confrontation leaves them emotionally drained. Alma then excuses herself, reminding Esteban she has a class to teach at the university, and walks away, leaving him alone with his turmoil. Meanwhile, we are shown Dario visiting his mother, who has long been suffering from mental illness. Dario speaks gently to her, trying to share that he has found a woman he cares about, meaning Alma, but his mother remains unresponsive. Strangely, Dario notices that she seems fixated on a certain spot. When he follows her gaze, he finds an old photograph of her late husband, Dario's father. Alarmed and suspicious, Dario rushes to the attending nurse and demands to know who placed the photo in his mother's room. The nurse denies doing so, suggesting that perhaps Dario himself had left it there. A thought he quickly dismisses, feeling an eerie unease. Elsewhere, at the courthouse, Leonardo is in his office with his assistant, Edith. He insists they must travel together for an urgent matter. Edith is reluctant, warning Leonardo that traveling together might not look good, especially to Alma. However, Leonardo is determined and reminds Edith that the trip has already been planned, leaving her with no choice but to accept, albeit uncomfortably. Back at the university, Professor Alma stands in front of her class, feeling unusually distracted. She notices Dario's seat is empty and grows visibly unsettled. When a student walks into the classroom late, Alma momentarily thinks it's Dario, but it turns out to be someone else. Her disappointment is palpable, hinting at the deepening feelings she has developed for the young man. We cut to a flashback of Esteban driving on a deserted road, his mind flooded with memories of the last time he saw Brenda alive. In the memory, Esteban confesses his love to Brenda after a night of intimacy. However, Brenda, ever the free spirit, tells him that she values her independence and can love whomever she pleases. She gently advises Esteban that, given his age and restless nature, he would find it difficult to settle down with any woman, herself included. As they talk, Brenda receives a text message. When Esteban inquires if it's from her husband, she confirms and asks him to leave immediately. Heartbroken, Esteban walks away, only to be shot in the leg by an unknown assailant just moments after exiting Brenda's home. The memory ends with a haze of confusion and pain. The next scene brings us to the place where Brenda's death occurred. Esteban arrives at the scene and meets Detective Vallejo. Inside the building, Esteban pleads with Vallejo to close Brenda's case, insisting that Brenda was aware of her own dangerous choices and that the man involved that night, whose DNA was found at the scene, had nothing to do with her death. After much hesitation and questioning, Detective Vallejo reluctantly agrees to halt the investigation. At the university campus, Zoe confronts her best friend Karina. Zoe accuses her of sending messages from an unknown number. Karina, confused, denies everything. Zoe explains that the mysterious sender has been liking all her Facebook photos and even tracking the places she's visited. As they argue, Zoe receives yet another strange message, confirming that Karina is telling the truth. Someone else is behind the stalking. Later, while sitting in the university cafeteria, Zoe receives a new message from the anonymous sender. She notices a woman nearby texting on her phone and immediately suspects her. Zoe stands up nervously as the woman approaches, but to her surprise, the stranger simply hugs her own friend sitting behind Zoe, leaving Zoe feeling confused and exposed. Meanwhile, Alma, still worried about Dario's absence from class, calls him, but he refuses to answer. Dario sees the call but deliberately ignores it, choosing instead to immerse himself in his work. Alma's concern grows deeper. Her affection for Dario is quickly becoming an obsession. Back at home, Leonardo prepares to leave for a trip to Guadalajara. He kisses Alma goodbye, promising to return in time for their anniversary. As he walks out the door, Alma sees Edith sitting in the passenger seat of Leonardo's car. Their eyes meet briefly, and Alma feels a painful pang of jealousy and betrayal. Edith is young, attractive, and alarmingly close to Leonardo. Leonardo reassures Alma once more and asks her to pass his love to their daughter Zoe before he leaves. The next day, Brenda's funeral is held. It's a somber, heartbreaking scene. Alma, Esteban, and Zoe attend, along with Brenda's devastated mother, who weeps uncontrollably over her daughter's grave. That night, Esteban, consumed by suspicion, investigates further on his computer. He discovers a document listing Dario's full name, Dario Antonio Guerra, deepening his distrust. At the same time, Alma lies awake in bed, haunted by doubt. She gazes at Brenda's photograph and smokes a cigarette in anguish, imagining Leonardo and Edith together at a hotel, indulging in infidelity. Tormented by her jealousy and loneliness, she attempts to comfort herself physically, but finds no real relief. The following morning, Alma is once again in class. She notices, with growing despair, that Dario is absent. After her lecture, she calls him repeatedly, but Dario ignores her, unwilling to be drawn deeper into the messy emotional entanglement. Determined, Alma goes to Dario's auto parts shop to confront him. Upon seeing him, she reassures him that she never meant to hurt him and just wants to know that he's okay. Overcome by their feelings, they kiss passionately and soon find themselves once again making love inside Dario's office. Meanwhile, outside, Esteban arrives looking for Dario. A young employee tells him that Dario is busy. Esteban pretends to accept it but leaves with growing suspicion. Inside the office, after their passionate encounter, Dario reads a story to Alma in an attempt to calm the heavy mood, but Alma feels the weight of guilt and urgency. She quickly gets dressed and leaves, though not without exchanging a lingering, emotional farewell with Dario. As Alma gets into her car, Esteban, who had been hiding and waiting, confronts her aggressively. The public confrontation humiliates Alma, and she begs Esteban to leave to avoid drawing attention. Both drive off separately. Later, at the university, Zoe and Karina are together when Zoe receives a call from her father. Leonardo, still in Guadalajara, asks Zoe for help, his voice full of strange urgency. The story cuts back to Alma, who returns home to find the swans Leonardo had gifted her now placed ominously on the dining table. She calls out for Zoe but is met by the housemaid, who informs her that Zoe went out and left a message for her to pick her up later. Reflecting on past memories, Alma recalls a previous anniversary filled with happiness when Leonardo had rented a hotel room to surprise her, reaffirming their love. Meanwhile, at a hotel, Leonardo is dressing up when Edith appears, flirting openly and helping him get ready. When Leonardo steps out, Edith retrieves her underwear from the bed, implying they had been intimate. Alma, sensing something wrong, calls Leonardo at that moment, but Edith coldly ignores the call. Elsewhere, Dario, having just showered, finds multiple Facebook messages from Zoe, messages he deliberately chooses not to respond to. In the evening, Alma goes to pick up Zoe at the address given. Upon arrival, Alma is shocked. Instead of a casual meetup, Leonardo has organized an anniversary party. Leonardo appears, smiling, and says, "Surprise!" The room is filled with guests, including Edith, whose presence makes Alma deeply uncomfortable. Leonardo publicly wishes Alma a happy anniversary and gives her a gift. Alma tries to mask her unease, but when she looks at Edith, jealousy burns in her eyes. In the crowd, Alma glimpses a figure resembling Brenda, sending shivers down her spine. The evening moves forward, but something feels broken inside Alma. Leonardo and Alma retreat briefly to a private room, leaving the guests to enjoy the party. The final moments show Esteban outside, alone, releasing a symbolic heart-shaped balloon into the night sky, watching it float higher and higher. A poignant image of love lost, dreams shattered, and secrets buried. Do you want to find out what happened next? Please join us in the coming episode of this amazing series. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.